Yeah, today let's get to understand how to create an MCP server and how to connect this MCP server to MCP client. So if you see my screen, here I have created a simple MCP server where I have added addition, subtraction and greeting name as a tools. Okay. So for each and every MCP server, it has some certain tools, right? So here I'm having some simple tools over here. So for creating an MCP server, you have to use fast MCP library, and inside that you have to give a server name over there, and you do have tools. Right, in tools you have to create, if you want to create a tool in agentic AI, you have to use the decorator and followed by tool, right? So if it is, since it is an MCP, you have to use @mcp.to. Okay. And if you want to check any errors over there, you have to run this Python, so but it will not give any output. So if you have any errors, it will show the errors, but it will not give any output. Okay. So since our MCP server is ready, we have to give this MCP server to one of the MCP client. So we have Cloud Code, Cloud, Cloud Desktop, and as well as we are having Cursor, Google Antigravity, so, many more as a MCP server, MCP clients. Okay. So uh, now I'm going to connect this MCP server to one of the MCP client called Google Antigravity. So this is my Google Antigravity, and if I click on settings, if you go to customization, if I refresh over the MCP server, there is no MCP servers. So in order to configure your MCP servers over here, you have to click on Open MCP config, and it will open a JSON. So here you have to add what are the servers you are having. So for that, this is as you know, like this is our MCP server, and this is the in order to run this MCP server, this is the Python file you have to run, and we are going to use a local Python instead of a virtual environment. Okay. And where this JSON has to look into, this JSON has to look into uh, testing, in this folder we are having our code. Okay. So we have to give the working directory as well. So once you have created a JSON, once we have configured our MCP server into the MCP client, you have to save this file. Once at the moment you have saved this file, if you go to anti-gravity settings and customizations, and if you refresh the MCP servers, where you can see that there would be one MCP server is that configured. So this is the process of configure an MCP server to MCP client. Okay. So we have configured our MCP server into Google Antigravity, right? Let's try to connect into another client called AWS Kiro. So if you open AWS Kiro, if you go to settings, if you scroll down, you can see here configure MCP. Okay. Inside the configure MCP, if you click on open user MCP config JSON, where you have to add your MCP servers list. Okay. So we have configured this one, right? So same, whatever we have configured in the Google Antigravity, let's copy that file JSON and we copy paste into this one, AWS Cairo, and let's save it. Let's try to save it. And if you ask a question, what is one place to use Google server? If you ask this question, the agent will try to call an MCP server and will try to get what are the tools available inside this. If you see here, it's called the MCP server, and inside that we have addition tool. It called that one, and we got an output as a 3. So basically, the agent can call whatever the tools available inside the MCP tool, and it will give the results. So same in the production, when if you have a database, you can get a database get results in the function. So it will return the query parameters like a select statements. and your LLM, your agent can able to get the call automatically and it will give the results.